Dear friends, we're back on for the next round table all about innovation and the Olympic Games when the Bouches-du-Rhône region sprints with Africa. So we are lucky enough to have an incredibly prestigious delegation from Kenya. So we have Kenyan athletes, Olympic champions. We have Paul TERGAT, please, who is an Olympic champion and chairman of the Kenyan Olympic Committee. They'll be here in just a few minutes, but before that we have Vincent, who is the Departmental Councillor and Mayor of Aix-Marseille, Provence, Métropole. So please join me on stage. So we're going to kick off this discussion by speaking just for the next few minutes about several subjects so that we can really highlight everything that the department has been doing for the Olympic Games. And we will then be hearing from our Kenyan delegation. At the end of this, we will be listening to a message from a great Kenyan champion, Eliud Kipchoge, who is a double Olympic athlete champion for the marathon. So please put your hands together. We'll be hearing from him very shortly. Dear Vincent Goyer, why is it so important for the Bouches-du-Rhône Council to commit to its exemplary pathway towards the Olympic Games in 2024? Thank you very much. Of course, the department is an incredibly important territorial partner for the Olympic Games. Even if the Olympic Games will be mainly happening in Paris, we are going to be having certain disciplines here down in Marseille and Miramas. Several competitions will be taking place here, and therefore we will be welcoming several delegations. It is an exemplary partnership that we have with Kenya. All of the Kenyan delegation will be staying in Miramas, and therefore it is a fantastic opportunity to show not only the link that we have in terms of innovation and the population, but as relationships that we have on every level, so economic, sports, and institutional. First of all, how can we share about these experiences and talk about the opportunities within the framework of this event? So the department had to be present here today at Emerging Valley. Of course, it is one of the main financial backers, so thank you very much for inviting us. Please put your hands together for Mr. Goyer. How will this partnership help us engage a real win-win relationship? And this relationship will be win-win because it will be a fantastic opportunity for us to show the assets of our territory. It has an international vocation, and it's not just by chance that the Kenyan delegation will be arriving in Miramas. There have been relationships, historically speaking, between Kenyan champions and the south of France, and over time we thought to ourselves, well, why don't we invite the Kenyan delegation to come to stay in Miramas and prepare for the Olympic Games. Everything then was concretized by signing a partnership agreement. And so the relationships are obvious. It's a real honor for us to welcome this delegation made up of such sports people that are so highly regarded, and there's such high quality, and therefore we are so lucky to have this feedback from these athletes. Sports-wise, this is win-win, and it's also win-win for our territory. The men and women that make up this delegation, so 80 athletes and a lot of people coming along to accompany them as well. We have a direct relationships with them. We're really speaking to them face to face, if you like. It's we don't have to go through an intermediary. Thank you very much. And my final question is, how can sport and the Olympic Games be an accelerator of this win-win partnership with Africa? So as we mentioned this morning, by welcoming the Kenyan delegation to Miramas, it's a fantastic illustration of an exemplary win-win partnership that we have between France and Africa. So there's so much to say that I won't have time to go through everything, but Aix-Marseille Provence has really been highlighted by this innovation plan, and Kenya, the capital of which being Nairobi, is famous for its startups. So we obviously have great relationships with them in terms of innovation. We can also mention e-sport, which is a great topic that the local area is working on. So this won't be an e-sports Olympic, but it's still relevant nonetheless. We've spoken about innovation, we've spoken about sport, and the other thing you mentioned was, could you just remind me, please? So Olympic Games, sport, Olympic innovation. The Department of the Bouches-du-Rhône, regarding international relationships, has a real political desire for a long time to build relationships with other partners, and these Olympic Games will be the perfect opportunity to make the most of these relationships. So a lot of international cooperation has been going on, and I'm convinced that these Olympic Games and the fact that we are welcoming the Kenyan delegation will just be the first step in a long way to go. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Vincent Goyet. You'll be staying with us, so a quick round of applause for Mr. Goyet. But before listening to the message of Eliud Kipchoge, I'm just going to ask the Kenyan delegation to stand up.
And see how de vous les applaudir tous parce que
please put your hands together because they have come all the way from Kenya to Aix-en-Provence. So the Olympic Committee, the Athletes Federation, the Secretary General, the champions of judo, athletes, so lots of great champions, and we are very much looking forward to hearing from them.
And now, maintenant, nous allons découvrir
And now we're going to listen to the message from Eliud Kipchoge, who is a double Olympic champion.
Hello everyone, this is Eliud Kipchoge. I'm twice Olympic champion, the first human being to run on the stones. I'm really honored and happy to be speaking to you to the Emerging Valley Forum. As like all of you, I'm also a fan and a lover of technology. Technology is the future. Technology will help in sport, in athletics, all sorts of sport, and even after the sport. Technology allows us actually to meet, to interact around the world. Technology also makes everything easier. That's why I always say technology is the game changer. As you know, Olympics is approaching. I want to say and actually comment on the partnership between National Olympic Committee of Kenya and Miramas City. These are really well thought. As you know, preparation and planning is the key in everything. I wish you all the very best and see you next time.
Voilà, c'est une parole d'un très grand champion.
We just heard from this great world champion, an Olympic athlete. And now I will call my friend Malik Jawara, editorial manager of Le Point. Please give a round of applause to Malik. Please welcome Mr. Paul TERGAT, the president of the Kenyan Olympic Committee, David Rudisha, who is an Olympic champion and 800-meter record holder, Francis MUTUKU, the Secretary General of the Olympic Committee of Kenya, and finally, Mr. Sylvain VACHIER, the VGA of MCES and founder of Sports Value Consulting. And now over to Malik.
Alors, donc le thème qui nous rassemble dans cette session, je vous le rappelle.
This session is about innovation at the Olympic Games when the Bouches-du-Rhône region sprints with Africa. Again, thank you, Samir. Thanks to its team and its partners for inviting us to the 7th edition of Emerging Valley. While we prepare for the Olympic Games, and so we have this great opportunity to speak about sports and Olympic Games on our territory because the Kenyan delegation has chosen Miramas as its headquarters. There are 34 labeled sites with the label Center for Preparation to the Olympic Games. Our territory has the highest number of labels. And our department, against the background of cooperation between Africa and Europe, wants to focus on sport to foster cultural exchanges, develop digital skills, and promoting video game sector. In other words, beyond the virtual world, sports keeps on building bridges between Africa and Europe in order to promote excellence. That's what we're going to talk about right now with prestigious guests that we already presented. For example, Vincent, the Department Councillor, Mayor for the Metropolis, Paul TERGAT, Paul TERGAT is an Olympic champion and chairman of the Kenya Olympic Committee. Right next to me, LEKUTA RUDISHA, Olympic champion and 800-meter record holder. Francis MUTUKU, Secretary General of the Olympic Committee of Kenya, and Vincent VACHIER, which is the director of an esports center in Marseille and who has created MCES in Casablanca a few years ago. Without further ado, let's start our session. The first question is for Paul TERGAT. What are the advantages, the benefits offered nowadays by the Bouches-du-Rhône department, which will be your headquarters during the Olympic Games?
And good afternoon to all of you. I think I will be very simple in terms of maybe giving answers to this very important session that we are having this afternoon. You all know that Olympics 2024, this is its season. We are in a phase to the spectacular showcase of any Olympic event. So Olympics is coming back to France through Paris in nearly almost 100 years since they hosted these Olympic Games. So this is a very important event to all of us, that we are coming to Paris 2024, and we are starting here in Bouches-du-Rhône. I don't know how to pronounce very well. And this is our home as National Olympic Committee of Kenya in preparation to Paris. We are doing this for the first time, not only once, but we want to see a partnership that is going to take us maybe to 2028 or 32 Olympic Games. I was listening slightly earlier today when some of the members who are here talking of the partnerships of global in terms of various activities that we are doing together. So as sports, this is the ecosystem that it cuts across what we are discussing. So as us, as a National Olympic Committee and as a country, we are very proud that the opportunity that we have been given by the territory to be here, and they have given us a lot of support and facilities, first-class facilities, which we are using in Miramas as one of the very few opportunities that we say we are very grateful for this partnership. We want to make sure that when we go to Paris, when we leave Miramas to go to Paris for the Olympic Games, we want to do very well, and we'll come and celebrate it here within the territory. As you have said, what could be the technicalities or maybe the advantages of this partnership? For us, we have already enjoyed. For the last almost 1 year and plus before the Games, our athletes has benefited so much in terms of coming to utilize the high performance facilities that we have ever seen within our region. But here, we are very lucky that these facilities is high class. Everything that you want, you will be able to, coaches, name it, all the infrastructure that is here is among the very best that we want, I can say myself. And as the President of National Olympic Committee, I want to see that we all make sure that we come together and have this partnership, not only for a short time, but for a longer partnership because we want to see, and this is going to cut from heritage. We need to have a way of we exchange. A lot of young people want to come and learn also English. They can come to Kenya, but do their sports, and they are also going in during the holidays, and that would be something that maybe we are looking forward to. So in this remark, I want to say thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much, Paul. And now, next question for Francis MUTUKU. How can digital technologies can be integrated in sports cooperation between Europe and Kenya and Africa?
I'm learning a bit of French. As our president has said, the cultural interlinkages between us and the department will help us to be able to do even language, to be able to learn. But before I answer the question, let me just give a story about Africa. In Africa, we normally say a child is brought up by the village. It's not just the parents go. So when you leave a child at home, you know comfortably that the neighbors will take care of that child. And just to add on to what had been asked earlier about what are the possible benefits in partnership, we found that within this region, we have people who in the African term we can call their neighbors because they'll take care of our athletes. We've sent our athletes here in the last 1 year without any top management, and we've been very comfortable going by the African practice that you can leave your child with their neighbors and you can go to sleep safely, and our athletes have been taken very, very well. They have done extremely well. They have trained very well. We've seen that the sprinters, Fernando Manyala, the fastest man in Africa at the moment, trained in Miramar City. And right now, we were there yesterday and we found that there's a new tartan which has been laid in preparation for the Kenyan athletes. And this is extremely good. Technology, in the very simple terms, just allows us, for example, to keep communicating with the athletes when they come to this particular place. We are able to continue having WhatsApp messages, YouTube follow-up in terms of the information. When our athletes leave Kenya, it's not like before where people will wonder, because your coach was not there, what more can you be able to do? The athletes can continue engaging with the technical support we are getting in this particular region through the different forms of technology, where they can be able to record their videos, they can be able to send to the coach, and the coach can be able to analyze. We can be able to get a lot of the data of the Kenyan athletes and share with the technical experts within this region, especially where they are very strong on. The technical people can be able to analyze, send it to the coach, or make an online communication in terms of taking the athlete to do very well. And one of the things which we are looking forward to seeing is when we went around the facilities yesterday, we saw a medical analysis equipment where we don't need to have an expert medical person within. An athlete can be able to go on through a video conferencing system, can be able to check, to be seen what their weaknesses are and recommendations done. That means almost instant availability of technical support because of the technology which will be able to be there. And we know nowadays that sport technology and innovation, it's almost the same, one and the same thing. A lot of people have associated technology with only the shoes, but beyond the shoes, there's so much more we can be able to benefit. And this morning we've listened to a lot of the ideas which are coming up, and we are very privileged and very proud that we are within the room where a lot of conversations in terms of what happens in terms of technology, what happens in terms of innovation, and how as Kenya and as sports people we can be part and parcel of that development, and most importantly how it can benefit our athletes as we go towards the Olympics in 2024, but beyond 2024 to the future.
Merci beaucoup, Francis MUTUKU. David Rudisha.
Thank you very much. And now over to David Rudisha. What challenges must you meet to integrate digital technologies? What's your point of view as an athlete?
Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, my name is David Rudisha, 2 times Olympic champion. And I'm really glad to be here today. And thank you for having me here in this panel. Yes, technology, it's play a very big role in today's world. We've seen so many things that so many goods that technology have done. And on the side of athletes, we have been able to see how athletes, train and enjoy the benefit of technology. And yes, during my time, there was not so much technology, but nowadays there is a lot, and we have been seeing fantastic athletes who have been doing very well, like when we are hearing one of our hero, Eliud Kipchoge, giving the message here. He became the first man to run under 2 hours. And it is because of the technology. But if you can see that, it was fantastic to watch. In fact, I say, yes, I've lived in my time, to see such a great performance from such an athlete, and because of the innovation and technology. Over the years, I had an opportunity to visit an Olympic museum in Lausanne, and I saw a spike that Jesse Owen ran with, and I tried to compare the same shoe with what we have been using, and even now there's more technology. There is a huge difference, and this is really tells us how technology has been able to improve, and we have been seeing this one as a true testimony through the performance of these athletes. Also, technology play a big role, in terms of nutrition. Athletes also come from different parts of the world, and they travel. We have challenges with jet lag and so forth. And whenever we get to different time zones, we also struggle a bit, and you find we don't have a lot of time to adapt to certain places. So with nutrition and supplement have really played a very big role, and this is because of the technology and the research that many people have been working and doing to make athletes do better.
Merci beaucoup, David Rudisha.
Thank you very much. And now over to Sylvain VACHIER. We're going to speak about e-sport. First question, how is e-sport cooperation going? And are there challenges left to meet? What role can digital technologies play in this e-sports cooperation? Good afternoon, everyone. As a sports fan, I'm delighted to sit next to these prestigious athletes. I'm really delighted we can host such figures. This is quite a wide question. I won't go into details, but I will focus on the Bouches-du-Rhône and Kenya and this cooperation, this partnership that is still to be built. There's a will to work together, that's true. But the truth is there are not a lot of projects underway, but we have the opportunity to open a subsidiary in Casablanca. So we had this opportunity because we were already convinced of the potential, the African potential. We do know that practices are different in Africa. Talent, we focus, like Africa tends to focus on mobile side aspect of business. So we entered the African continent. We met really engaging people with influences that are as powerful as Europeans. And that was our first contact with the African continent. And after our first achievements, we started working on other topics. With Libya, for example, we worked together on the integration, the return to work of people with PTSD. And we also worked with Nigeria, and we welcome Kenya delegation. There will be a delegation coming to Marseille very soon. So there have been some cooperation opportunities. The Bouches-du-Rhône department is a driving force of cooperation. There will be many more opportunities to work together, and we want to see and take inspiration in the performance of Kenyan athletes, put forward what we can offer, what we've developed as regards with mental preparation. to offer something that is at their level. And I do think we should make connections in the world of sport, because sport can generate social fabric, it can generate education, it can generate momentum, and we're lucky enough to have skilled trainers here. We are well, we have a solid base at European level, and we also provide activities, training courses, so that African talents can develop here and go travel the world and win competitions. So that's one of our goals. And that's how I envision the future of the relationship between these two territories nowadays, these two centers of histories which are very different. And we don't sit next to great champions every day, so let's take this opportunity to ask them to tell us one or more stories connected to technology, stories about their career, maybe about something that they remember and on which digital technologies have played a huge part, or that have made you think.
Technology, as you said, is play a big role, and yes, like the experience I have while I was running, and most of my races I used to train with my pacemaker, the Rabbit, and sometimes you see that in some of the competition we plan even to go fast and break the world record, but sometimes it doesn't do the perfect pacing, for example. But you see, with the technology, nowadays we have light waves, which actually we have seen over a few months, which is also been integrated in the world stage, like in the World Championships. And it is very interesting because if some of you follow athletics, Jacob Ingebrigtsen of Norway, he ran our 2 kilometers on the track in one of the Diamond League races in Brussels this year, and he made it look very easy. He broke the world record, unbelievable. So it is because of the technology. He can just follow the light. He knew exactly where he was at that particular time when he was running that race. He didn't need a pace setter because of the technology, and this is because of the changes that I've been going through over the years, and I've been to competition and sport as entertainment. We have so many fans who actually follow like athletics and any other sport. But when you see an athlete performing very well, it brings a different energy in any sporting activity. And when athletes break the world record, when they do very well, it brings the energy, and people are happy about that. So technology, it's something that we should adapt, all of us, because it is the best way to go. And I'm happy because a lot of people are accepting the reality about the technology. And yes, sports being one of them, it has made a lot of changes.
Paul Degar.
Thank you very much again. From the technological side is that currently, as we even speak, we have so many of our athletes who are pursuing their education in different levels online. It shows that the importance of technology is so vital than ever before. Why I'm saying this is that the athlete is doing his classes online and is still able to continue with his training. I could not imagine that could happen anytime during our time. But this is what is happening now. Like now, all of us, most of athletes, they are not even having any pressure. If you want to travel, you just go into the net and you book a ticket. And like before, you have to wait, you leave all your trainings and go to look for a ticket somewhere, but you have lost so many hours in between. So I want to say that as my brother here has just said about technology, the way the invention is going, even in terms of shoes and all those, it is technology. Even the running kit that you are putting on, technology has actually helped us to ease also in terms of our health and everything else. And that is very important. So I think we are living in an era, we're living in a generation that we cannot say that we'll go back again in the next, maybe go back to 20 years or 30 years back. This is the generation of technology, and it will be there to stay with us. Thank you.
Alors, je vais demander à Francis MUTUKU. Vous avez certainement eu...
I'm sure you will have had the opportunity to speak with your colleagues. Did you want to speak about technology in running and how other champions might have been a dream athlete for Kenya in the future?
I'm a champion by proximity, by being close to the champions. Yes, I can speak in terms of technology from the aspect of sports administration and sports management. Statistics and data probably come to the top of my mind, that at any given time from a sports administration and management aspect, we are able to get the statistics of every athlete. So if, for example, we have somebody who we want to participate in Olympics next year, and we know what their qualifying times are for Olympics, and we know what their times are this time, we can be able to work with the technical team and see whether it is achievable to be able to get that particular time. And that again will be based on what the technical people will look at it from a technological point and a scientific point, how much work they need to put in, how their rest schedule should be, how their eating schedule will be. All these statistics, when they're put together, they can be applied. This is not something as a country we benefited in the past. A lot of our athletes, as Dr. Paul TERGAT has said, went out there and ran naturally and won. Right now, because of competition across most of what we felt were our areas of dominance in terms of athletics, they are under attack. And they're under attack because people are employing science and technology. And therefore, as a country, we are also doing that equally as much to be able to apply it, to be able to match that, so that we know we can project how much time we'll be able to train any particular athlete for what period, and to be able to get them to win. We also benefit a lot, not just in athletics, but in team sports, with a lot of entrance of a statistician in a team sport who can be able to support the coaching, the technical coaching aspect, because the statistician will be able to give the statistics and performance of every individual athlete at any given time. This will help them to be able to support them in terms of what time they need to rest, what time they need to be substituted, and what tactic the coach can be able to employ because of what has been done. As you know, Kenya is a country of innovation. I'm sure most of you know about the M-Pesa, which is known worldwide. Currently, we have some youngsters who have been able to innovate and bring technology, and they're able to have the substitution board. We have one 18-year-old who has been able to do it, and this is still being employed in sports. So sports is opening the area for the sports people to be able to go in and practice it, or for people who love the sport but are not as talented to be able to come and employ their innovative skills and knowledge to be able to support the sports movement or the sports practice as we go on.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur Vachier. Je voulais savoir, est-ce que dans les...
Thank you very much. So, in the models that we're speaking about in sport or in esports, are there any Kenyan athletes? In my opinion, in my knowledge, no, I don't actually know of any Kenyan esport athletes, because as I mentioned earlier on, people are very curious and interested in esports. So when we set up our team, we spoke not only about physical preparation but also mental preparation to fight against issues such as having tired eyes and sitting down for too long. The highest performing sports athletes in Kenya, I'm afraid I'm not that familiar with them, but in any case, perhaps one day we will see a Kenyan esports athlete. So before handing over to my colleague to bring the session to a close, we're going to put technology to one side. What came to your minds when you won the championships that you have won? So what was the first thing that came to mind? What was the first image that you had when you crossed the finishing line and won the championship, please? So what did you think of?
I grew up in a family of athletics. My father was an Olympic champion in the year he won silver medal in the Mexico Olympic 1968. And I grew up seeing him as my idol, and winning and competing in such a huge, big stage in sports was really an amazing experience. And winning for my country, for myself, for my family was very special. And I don't know how to explain, the feeling, but it is something that happened, in that moment, and it is special and stay with you for the rest of your life. And I remember when I used to talk in the house with my dad, and I used to tease him about he won silver, and I have an opportunity to improve that medal. So I used to tell him that I can beat you, I'll be better than you one day. And it was a very funny conversation, and I didn't know that one day, yes, that will come to pass. And it was something very special, and we always feel proud because we know we have so many supporters who are supporting us out there, on social media and so forth. And also, when you're on that line, by the time you cross, also your country is behind you. You are representing the whole nation, and that really feels special to us as athletes.
Merci beaucoup, David.
Thank you very much for sharing that with us. Paul TERGAT, thank you very much. Paul TERGAT, could you answer the same question, please? What was it like to cross the finishing line? What came to mind?
When you remind me about how it feels, I will still go to the same answer that you said. I remember those days when I was studying as a kid, picking up to compete internationally and being an elite athlete. There are two things. One is so emotional, especially when you hear your national song being sung on your behalf for the whole country. You can break down. It is not, and also knowing that we had worked so hard, not for few months, but for years, to be able to achieve that. That sacrifice and determination and work hard would always pay. By doing that, you will always appreciate when you see anyone, be it in any field, who is committed to succeed, you appreciate and you encourage. So I want to say that for me, this is something that is still fresh in my mind every day. It gives me a level of pride to say yes. And humbleness also, that what did I pay to be able to be at the top of my career? Not for 1 year or 2 years or 5 years, but close to about 20 years at the top. It is because of the love, dedication to excel at any given time. Even when I retired, I still want to serve my country in that position. So thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup pour ta réponse.
Thank you very much for your answer. Vincent GOYET, tell us what you feel. Has everything that you've heard inspired you? What kind of response can you give us? So what I'm going to take away from this discussion today are 3 main things. First of all, that is very obvious for the Council to want to be here. And today, for the Olympic Games in Paris, but not only, I'm also thinking about the next Youth Olympic Games, which will be taking place in Dakar. The quality of the athletes in sport, or e-sport, is something which is very admirable, and the institutions such as my own are very proud to be able to participate in, even if it's just in some small way. There is also the aspect of the relationships, the interpersonal relationships that are created during this type of competition. They're extremely powerful. And the third thing is that today we're having the Kenyan delegation. Perhaps in the future we might have other delegations, and we would be very proud to welcome them open arms. So we are incredibly lucky to be able to rely on our relationships, our bilateral exchanges, and think to the future together.
Petit moment.
Thank you very much. It's really been a momentous occasion, so let's all enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Bravo. Restez sur scène.
Congratulations. Please stay on the stage for the picture.